your word is like your promise, like it's your integrity. So if you don't keep it to yourself, then it's really hard to have that self-trust. And so my journey of keeping a daily promise to myself actually started at the end of 2019 because I was following someone who was promoting, like, let's finish the year strong, let's finish the decade strong, right? I started with a daily walk streak of let me show up for myself for 30 days. And I kept track by using my Apple Watch, the closing the rings on that. And to start with, it was kind of like an efforting sort of thing. Like you're starting a new habit. But I was really motivated by this like external deadline of like the end of the year, end of the decade. And then I did the 30 days and that felt good. And it's like, well, let's start the year strong, right? So then I did another 30 days. And then like, let's do 90 days since that was like the original challenge. Well, almost 4 years in, I'm still keeping that daily promise to myself.
Welcome to Linda's Corner, where we bring more hope, healing, and happiness to the world. My name is Linda Bjork, and today we're going to be talking about making and keeping promises to ourselves. I'm delighted to welcome Stephanie Rose. Stephanie is the founder and owner of Firefly Scout, and you can reach her at her website, fireflyscout.com, and I'll include a link in the show notes. Welcome, Stephanie. I'm so glad that you could join with me today.
This is going to be a great conversation. I'm so excited.
I am too. The idea of making and keeping your word to yourself is so huge. Because I know so many people who, I can show up at work on time because someone else says this is when I have to be here. Or I can show up at school on time because someone else told me what I needed to do. But when it's me in charge of myself, sometimes people have a hard time keeping their word to themselves. I might say, oh, I want to get up and exercise. Then the alarm comes and I hit snooze, or I don't want to do it, or whatever. Do you have a story that kind of goes along with this idea of why it matters that we keep our word to ourselves?
Yeah, like your word is like your promise, like it's your integrity. So if you don't keep it to yourself, then it's really hard to have that self-trust. And so my journey of keeping a daily promise to myself actually started at the end of 2019 because I was following someone who was promoting, like, let's finish the year strong, let's finish the decade strong, right? And so they're doing like a 90-day challenge. And then I kind of half listened, half participated, and then like, okay, last 30 days, I'm in. I really want to finish this strong. So I started with a daily walk streak of let me show up for myself for 30 days. And I kept track by using my Apple Watch, the closing the rings on that. And to start with, it was kind of like an efforting sort of thing. Like you're starting a new habit. But I was really motivated by this like external deadline of like the end of the year, end of the decade. And then I did the 30 days and that felt good. And it's like, well, let's start the year strong, right? So then I did another 30 days. And then like, let's do 90 days since that was like the original challenge. Well, almost 4 years in, I'm still keeping that daily promise to myself of getting in a daily walk and closing the rings on my Apple Watch. And then I use that for my own accountability.
That is so delightful. So, what a beautiful example. And I kind of liked that actually the first attempt was sort of, well, I sort of half listened. And yeah, I didn't really do the first whatever days. And then I bought in. And then all of a sudden, hey, this is my idea. Can I do 30 days? And then from there, and I also loved how you talked about the external deadlines. Somebody else gave you a deadline. Somebody else said, I think you should give this a try and see if it does something for you. Sometimes it takes some external permission or external invitation before we start realizing, hey, I can do this. And then once you fulfill that external deadline, on your own, then you said, I want to do 30 days. I want to do 90 days. I like the way this feels. I'm going to keep going. And when you're talking about daily walk, are you actually talking about going on a walk? Or are you talking about this is the thing that I do and I call it my daily walk?
No, like going for a walk.
Going for,
Initially, there was like I'd use the treadmill more, um, and it has my fulfilling my daily promise to myself has evolved over all this time because it has to. Um, and the idea is like it was more of an efforting thing because it was like an initial challenge, and now it has evolved into a lifestyle. So it was always moving my body in a way, and then it has now just evolved to like taking that walking time for like me. It is time to like step away from life, from motherhood, like, and have like 30 minutes to breathe or maybe catch up with a friend or just like use it for what I need to most. So sometimes that's listening to a podcast, sometimes that's calling someone it's just talking out loud to myself, other times it's just walking.
I love it. And I love as you talk about this kind of transformation of how at first it took some effort. This is something I'm doing it just because I said I was going to do it and I'm going to prove that I can do what I say I do. And then it evolved into a lifestyle. And it's not just moving your body, but it is helping all of you. And it has become something that maybe instead of you dreading, it's like, I got to do this so I can check the box. It's, wow, I get to do this. And this is my me time. And it helps my body. It helps put me in a good place so that the rest of my day, I can show up at 100% and do all the things that I need to do. And I think that matters on so many different levels. That the idea is not just going through a checklist or even trying to prove something to myself or somebody else, but that it is becoming better and enjoying life a little bit more. And I think your mindset about it changed a little bit. So, what do you think about mindset? I mean, what does that mean to you, and how has that affected your joy?
Yeah, like your mindset is really tied to like the energy that you embody. And so, to start out, it was kind of like proving something to myself. I'm earning it, I'm efforting through. And then over time, it was like I'm really proud of myself, but it was still something I had to like consciously plan into my day. And then now it's like kind of like a zombie habit, I call it. Like I'm doing it before I even know it. Like it's I just know it is going to happen in a day. It's not an if, it's when it's going to happen. And that's the mindset shift. It's automatically planning that into my day, factoring that into my capacity. And after you do things enough, it becomes that way, but you can help yourself along by knowing that you're creating an identity shift for yourself. Like I am the type of person who shows up for myself each day. And then you start having evidence of your streak that you are being consistent. And then your mindset starts to figure out ways like, well, how am I going to make it happen? Instead of kind of self sabotaging, like, well, how can it not happen today? I was really busy, or oh, I'm really tired. Like you, it's keeping that like higher level of vibration of like, what are you really here to do? Like, and serving your greater needs and putting those over your excuses.
Ooh, putting it over your excuses. I love that. And I love when you talked about the idea of identity, how it's changing. One of the books that I really enjoy is Atomic Habits by James Clear. And one of his quotes in there that I love is the most practical way to change who you are is to change what you do. And so in the what you do here by my doing is taking a walk, but it's not just the walk that's benefiting. It is I am the kind of person who honors myself and keeps my word to myself. I am a person that I can depend on. And by doing this, and it's really quite beautiful because the doing, actually, you could do something totally different if it's, I'm going to go to the gym, or I am going to, I don't know, drink 8 glasses of water, whatever your do is, keeping your word to this is what I'm going to do, and then following through and doing it is enough to change so many different things. So, how has this benefited you in the rest of your life? Like as a parent, for example, how has this changed the way that you show up as a mom?
Well, one, I feel like I'm setting a good example for my kids that mom has needs too, and I make time for them every day. And it's kind of my space. Like it's not often that they come with me on my walk because life does get busy. And sometimes it is, especially in the summertime, it's after they go to bed. And when our treadmill was working, like it'd be going downstairs in the basement after a long day and getting that walk in. But it definitely shows them that I, as a role model to them, that like I can follow through on things, I can be consistent, and that this time is special to me, and that they are also given permission to have time that is special to them and maybe value their time a little bit better. So I feel like that's really important. It also lets me be a more clear-headed, calmer person because I'm an introvert, I'm a highly sensitive person, I'm an empath. Like I'm taking in so much that I need that space to discharge and like release other people's energies and just be in my own space. So um, that just helps me show up better, knowing that like each day, somewhere in the day, I'm going to get that time. And even if it's at the very end of the day, at least I still showed up for myself.
I love that. And isn't it interesting how taking that little bit of time for yourself helps your children? It helped in the example that you set and also in the way that you showed up. So, this time in claiming a little bit of space for yourself is not selfish, it's actually helping to improve everything, including yourself. And isn't it wonderful to remember that we matter and that taking care of ourselves is an important part? And your website is about glow and growing your glow. What is your glow? What does that mean?
It's that like energy around you. Like when someone walks into a room and they just like, you can tell like their energy has either boosted the vibe of the room or like they've sucked it all out. So like your glow is just that like your natural vibration of like your highest and best self. And so when you're glowing, it's just like a radiance that you can't really put a finger on, but people just tell like they you have a good vibe. And like that can just show up in that your enthusiasm for life, like maybe you're just more positive, you like your unique talents are shining because you're good with yourself and you love yourself and that is radiating outward.
And we can grow that.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just, oh, that person was born with this incredible charisma and this person was born without it, so they're doomed. Um, the idea is wherever we're at, we can make it better. And
Yeah,
we
like
can
we came here with a purpose to fulfill. And it's all about like figuring that out and figuring out like what makes you tick, what makes you shine, like what is the juiciness of you and feeling free to express that. And because people need that. Like you came here with specific gifts to serve the world. So if you're holding them in, then people you're not serving the greater good. So that's like your glow. Like I feel like if everyone was like really deeply knowing themselves and trusting that themselves and where they're going, then their glow would grow and the whole world would be a better place. So that's really my ultimate mission.
I love that, to make the world a better place, one person at a time.
Yeah.
And I really think that that's the way that it works for real, is that it is by changing really from the inside out.
Mhm.
Sometimes people think, oh, the world will improve when all of our outside external circumstances are fantastic. Then we can feel that peace inside, and then we can be happy, and then we can move forward. And I believe that it comes from people, from our inside, and the way that we show up. And then as more people, as you put it, glow, as more people light up, then it lights the world. And how beautiful is that? I can just see a picture in my mind. I've got my little candle and everybody's holding their candle and one's lit, and then you light your neighbor, and then once yours is lit, then you can help light somebody else's until everybody is just there and you're aglow, and it just makes everything beautiful. So I love that.
Yeah, like if you're glowing, it can inspire other people to glow, but you need to address yourself first, but you can be inspired by what everyone else is doing.
Absolutely. And sometimes it's tricky to be inspired by rather than compare.
Mhm.
Because a natural thing is like, oh, Stephanie, she's so awesome, and I'm not that awesome. So I am no good because I am not as awesome as instead of saying, oh, I love the way Stephanie does this. Ooh, how do you do it? Can I do it too? So I can
Yeah.
have that happiness and that glow. So it's again, it goes back to mindset that we talked about a little bit before, is when I see someone glowing, what does that do to me? Do I feel inspired? Like, oh, I want that too. Or do I feel like, oh, their Facebook posts are so much cooler than mine. Their life is so much better than mine. I guess I stink. Um, so kind of need to work a little bit on our again, ourself of recognizing I have worth, I have value, I have things, and recognizing what we love. And I don't know about you, Stephanie, but for a long time I thought what I wanted didn't matter because I don't get it anyway. I'm
Yeah.
just a servant of all. And so if you asked me, years ago, what do you love? I think, I don't know. What does it matter? And
Yeah.
so sometimes we have to, I think, discover ourselves a little bit of what does bring me joy? What do what do I like to do? What makes me happy? So
Yes.
in addition to walking, what kinds of things make you happy?
Um, well, I love going down rabbit holes of self-discovery. I'm currently deep in one about human design, which is another system of knowing yourself. It's based on your astrology. And that sounds totally woo, but it is amazingly interesting. So like I love that. I love connecting with some friends I've made over a TV show that I love, and I love uh, trying new like craft project things. Like just I, there are things that just catch my interest, and I like to just follow them and see where they go. They don't always have like a goal in mind, but it's like I just keep feeling compelled to do this thing. I don't know why, but I'm doing it and it's fun. Like part of my offer is an illumination kit, which guides people through the journey of knowing themselves better. And one of the activities in it is to create a vision board. And so part of the kit is like I actually mail you things. And so part of it is I will mail you things to go on your vision board. Well, I just keep pulling out things to put in people's vision boards. Like, I don't know why, but I can't help. But every time I go through magazines to pull out the inspiring pictures or quotes or something, because like that's going somewhere. I don't know where yet, but I have this amazing collection of things and the inspiration is brewing for it. So it's just following that magic, those everyday little things that like piece together. Like I'm collecting dots on things and then eventually they'll connect and I will know exactly what it's for.
That is amazing that you trust your intuition enough to act on it, because not very many people do. They would have that, oh, I really feel like I should do this thing, but I don't know why, and that's really weird. So I'm not going to do that. So, very well done to be able to do that. And I would love, if it's okay, to talk a little bit more about what you just brought up, this process, this kit, to be able to help people to discover themselves. Because there might be others who are listening who felt like I did years ago, where it's like, I'm not even sure who I am. Because basically, my purpose in life is just to make everybody else happy, take care of everybody else's needs. And I tell you, when you are in the role of a mom, boy, that one just kind of magnifies because you're really taking care of everybody else's needs. And sometimes you don't meet your needs, you forget you have needs, you deny that you have needs, ignore your needs, all of those sorts of things, and you can lose yourself. So tell us more about what this process is, your vision board. What kinds of things are you putting on there that will help me discover who I am?
Yeah, like that's what inspired the kit is about 6 years ago when my youngest was finally like getting some sleep and I could get some sleep and like regain that sanity. I was at that point of like, okay, like I've done the things. I've hit all those like life goal things. It's like, well, now what? I don't quite know what else to do. And that's when the self-discovery personal growth journey like really took off. And I was trying to answer that question. Who am I? What do I even like to do anymore? Because you ask people, like especially moms, like, well, what do you like to do? What do you do in your free time? Like one, what's free time?
Yeah.
And two, like, I don't know. I don't even know what I like anymore. So I was on a mission to figure that out. And that's what built this kit. So it's a set of 4 guidebooks that guide you through this journey of getting to know yourself better. And it includes like literally making lists of what you like, now, then, like all those nuances of what you like, naming your values, seeing how they show up in your life. How can you live them better, like more prominently? So it's like building the foundation and discovery of yourself. And then we get into some visioning, and that's like the vision board. So how can you translate those thoughts into a visual? Like I'm a very visual person. So I know that people talk about making vision boards, but this is making it more with like where you really embody it. Like everything on there like truly means something to you, not what society tells you should be meaningful to you because you've done this self-discovery. So you're trying to capture and visually remind yourself of what you love. And then there's a section where it encourages you to get quiet, cut out some of that noise that's in your life, and really start to listen to that inner knowing within you and how it communicates with you. And then to grow from there. Like, so it's a guided journey just to help you get in touch with yourself. And the unique part is it is mailed to you. So it's not one of those like digital courses that you download and never open. Um, it's all mailed to you. And I send handwritten cards to you every couple of weeks to help encourage you, to let you know that like I'm in this with you. And like who doesn't love getting mail? Like it's a connection point that we've lost. So it's to let you know like you're really not alone on this journey. And I can't wait to guide you through it from my own experience.
And sounds like you're joining a new group of friends
Yeah.
where it's not just a course, but it is a connection, not only with yourself, but with other people, including you. I mean, getting a handwritten card, that's tender. Like you say, that doesn't happen very often. Usually just get an emoji on your text or whatever,
Yeah.
keeping it short.
Yeah, like handwriting just is different than like, yeah, like an emoji or a meme back. Like, yeah, they're funny but it's not like the true connection.
And speaking of handwriting, I know one of the things that you do is journaling exercises. Can you walk us through what a journaling exercise would look like? How will that help me to discover myself?
The foundation of the illumination kit stems from my own journaling practice that I learned from Julia Cameron and her artist way with the morning pages. So like stream of consciousness journaling because as moms, we have a lot of stuff in our heads and it's a swirl. And so giving yourself permission to just get things out of your head without a purpose was very freeing to me. And I didn't know that kind of journaling. So for some people, that might be brand new. And then as you like create more space and more mental breathing room and even physical breathing room, because you're holding so much of that emotion in your body as it gets out, then you can go into like more of a guided journaling or a specific prompt that's brought up by each of the elements of the course.
I like that. And I have this little visual image in my head about blowing up a balloon. And you know how you can blow it to the point where it's nice, and then you can blow it to the point where it's too much. And you can just feel the tension. Like if it touches, it's going to explode and it's going to make a loud noise and I'm going to jump. And then when it's just too full, and I think when our heads are too full, it's like that where anything can set us off. And if you can
Yeah.
just, oh, let a little bit of air out, let a little bit of pressure out, and then it can become resilient again, where you feel like, that's okay. Everything is going to be okay. And so I like that. I like that idea because we do carry a lot. And a lot of times as women, we just want a sounding board. Can I just have somebody to talk to? And sometimes we have a friend who's nearby, and sometimes we don't. And part
Or
of
they're
the
not available
magic,
because they're a busy mom.
exactly, ta-da, of the journaling is I can grab a piece of paper and a pen when I'm available and in my spare moment. So I don't have to line up my free moment with someone else's free moment. I can have that chance to just let it go. Oh, that's beautiful. Well, what if I hate writing? Is there something else I can do?
Another tactic that I've used is on my walk, I will do walk and talks with myself. So I'll give myself a question or like a journal prompt type thing. And I'll literally talk it out with myself. And if you have your earbuds in, no one knows. Like they just think you're talking on the phone, or you just pause your conversation when you walk past someone. But that has been helpful too, because when you're moving your body, you're getting a little endorphins, like the energy's flowing, it's not stagnant in your body. And like the ideas are able to come, like whatever problem you have, like solutions come more easily. It's, you can get perspective because you're literally getting perspective with your eyes. Like you can have that reminder of like everything's not so close in front of you. And so that is another method I have used to just figure stuff out. Like it's freeing to just let it fall out of your mouth and see what happens. And sometimes I'll record it if it's something that I know I'm problem solving and I want to know what I've got and I don't want to worry about it. And worst case, I delete it. No big deal. But yeah, sometimes it's just truly walking and just talking to myself. But other times it's strategic problem solving and talking it out and recording it to untangle later.
That's quite beautiful. What a clever solution. And I love the concept of the perspective. My view is literally changing as I walk along, and how that can help be an influence to change the perspective in my mind. And I also love that you're doing this walking and this movement, and how that connection between moving our body helps to free up the ideas in our mind is quite beautiful. And it made me think of something that I had learned in that um, exercise, and particularly those kinds that use large muscle groups repetitively, like walking or jogging or even cycling, is a form of moving meditation. And it has some of the same benefits as meditation, which is really helpful for those of us who are not really good at holding still and trying not to think because thoughts come flying through. But if you can move and allow those thoughts to flow through, then that provides some of the same benefits, but maybe for, someone who their personality isn't super good with the hold still, be quiet kind of thing. So
Well,
absolutely beautiful.
like our life puts us in a lot of like a fear state often, like notifications, someone interrupting, like we're always like kind of jumping to that startled state. And so like our nervous system needs that like calm, like the release. So yes, we need to calm, but if you haven't like discharged that energy, it's really hard to be calm if it's still swirling inside of you. So the walking, like it really helps. And sometimes I'll walk and I'll really like sway my shoulders and my arms to like wiggle it out a bit and just kind of imagining like, oh, it's releasing. And then like that allows me to think clearer and just come back in a more peaceful state because I've kind of reset my nervous system.
Mm, I love that. And again, that is just so brilliant to use the movement of your body to help calm your mind, because those feelings, those emotions can get trapped inside, and we can sometimes get it out by talking, but often we get things out through somatic mean, through our body,
Yeah.
through that movement, because things as they get trapped in our body, moving our body helps to move it and to help let it go. And so it can do so many amazing things that we're not even aware of how amazing it is. It's like, well, that was easy and I feel great. And you don't have to know all the hows and the whys. You just know I did it and it feels great. So I'm going to do it again tomorrow.
Yeah. And you may not get the same results each time, but knowing it's a practice that you have to turn to is really valuable.
Oh, I love it. Well, Stephanie, is there anything else you want to make sure we cover before we close today?
Well, for anyone who's interested in the journaling, I do have a free journaling guide that explains the process of like the stream of consciousness journaling. So that would be a great place for anyone to start with who maybe hasn't had success with journaling in the past or just wants to like jumpstart their relationship with it.
Mm, a relationship with it. I like that. So, relationship with journaling or relationship with self? Which one are we, or both?
Both. Like it's your expression.
I like that. Well, Stephanie, thank you so much for joining with me today. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. This has been such a delight.
In closing, I'd like to share a quote by Marianne Williamson. She said, "As we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same." Today, I invite our listeners to accept this invitation. You have permission to shine. See you next time on Linda's Corner. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode of Linda's Corner, please share and subscribe to help us reach new listeners. I also invite you to check out my nonprofit, Hope for Healing, at the website hopeforhealingfoundation.org for free ebooks and other free resources to help increase happiness, build confidence and self-esteem, strengthen relationships, manage stress, and calm feelings of depression and anxiety. I also invite you to grab a copy of one of my books, like Crushed, A Journey Through Depression, or Amazon bestseller, You Got This, an action plan to calm fear, anxiety, worry, and stress. See you next time on Linda's Corner.